Finally, on my list of speakers, I've had no further indications. Mr Flanagan.
Thank you very much. Very interesting to hear your two speeches. I come from the Republic of Ireland, a country that knows all about conflicts and knows all about wars and the problems and the horrible things that they cause. But conflicts get solved to the point that I'll be shouting for England this evening, even though I come from the Republic of Ireland, because guess what? The war is over and there are ways to solve that, and that is to sit down and talk to each other and put away the guns. But from listening to what's going on here today, it sounds like we're going to get into the business of buying more guns, more tanks, strengthening our roads so that we can bring them tanks across it in order to bring about peace. Sorry, we have peace already. I don't get it. But anyways, the Republic of Ireland is a neutral country, so I find these meetings very interesting, and it's an opportunity to put questions to well, important people who make really, really important decisions. So the questions I have are, and it's in particular in relation to the Republic of Ireland, will observer status details in general project details such as aims and budgets be publicly available as each project is decided? Also, as well as this, will the public be given access as to who is an observer of each project? Ireland is supposedly an observer of military mobility, a NATO facilitator from what it sounds like to me. Is this true? Why is the call for a second round of PESCO projects already being put out for when the first ones are not fully in action yet? Could we not try something? And what happens if these fail? A question in relation to European Defence Agency access, and it's good to be able to come here today and listen to you from the European Defence Agency, because the last time I attempted to come and listen to someone from your agency was at your annual conference, which I found out about the day before last November. So as an MEP, someone who has 124,000 votes, who represents a constituency with over 1 million people, I went along. I didn't have an invite, but of course if you don't have an invite to something, you can still walk up to the door and ask, can I get in? I never got to ask that question. I got dragged away by the police here in Belgium. Normally I find the police in Belgium like pussycats. Excellent people, know how to do their job without infuriating people. In this case, I was met with a Euro-federalist Robocop attitude, and I was dragged down the street. And they hurt me too, but we'll get over that. There's more people hurt in this. So can you tell me, can I go into the conference next year without being dragged away and without my constituents being insulted by your people? Because we pay your wages. So I'd like an invite next year, and I'd like not to be dragged away from the door. Another question is another aspect that was used to sell PESCO to the people, and it was mentioned earlier about saving money, was the fact that each member would save money due to no duplication across EU in terms of equipment. But Ireland is not only raising its defence budget, but also supposedly going to contributing more to the EU budget so that you can spend it on security and defence. Can you please explain to me, someone in the room, how this is going to save Ireland money? How will us spending more on defence, more on guns and bombs, something we want to rid our country of, how will that save us money? Now, the final question, what role will third countries have? When this is decided, will it be made public? And if the point of PESCO is not to have a second NATO-like structure, then why would third countries join? And finally, I hear Federica Mogherini talking about how we'll have a different type of use of weapons, the European way. Well, maybe the European way might seem a little relatively benign now when you look at the governments around Europe. But have a look at what's coming next. Have a look at the far right, who bit by bit are taking over the governments in the European Union, and who they are going to put into the Commission the next time around. And the question then will be, what will they do with this army? Will it be to defend what's right, or will it be to create a wall that basically Donald Trump is rightly being lambasted for, will it be used to do the very same thing here? Because I come from a country where millions of us, during a famine caused by the British, we had to leave our country. We died on boats, and we were welcomed in places we weren't welcomed in others. But the one thing I can't stand by is sit in a European Union as a member of this Parliament and stand by as we potentially do something that, if had been done in the past, I wouldn't be here now. Most of my relations wouldn't have survived. Ireland would have been further destroyed. So the question is, who will control this army in the future? And not too distant future, because all you have to look at is the polls, etc. A lot of questions to be answered, and thanks for the opportunity to do it without being dragged away from the door.
Thank you. And thank you for your support for the England team tonight. Right, so you have a lot of questions to respond to, and I'm afraid a limited time in which to do it. But if I could ask you both to take 5 minutes.
On there were a number of questions around savings and so forth. I think it's important to realise that first of all, commitment number one of PESCO is to regularly increase defence budgets. So in real terms, so above the inflation, to reach agreed objectives. Now, this was, of course, a decision among the 25 member states who signed that notification, but it's a clear message that collectively, as a group of countries who say we want to be able to undertake the most demanding missions, which is, of course, in the treaty, there needs to be sufficient investment in the first place. But then the second thing is, and that's throughout the commitments and throughout the logic of PESCO, it's about how to spend that in the most efficient way. And the most efficient way is not doing it on a national basis with national industry, but to do it on a collaborative basis with different groups of member states involved in different countries, different industries. So the savings come when developing a particular capability. And there were studies, I think, in the European Parliament has done excellent studies in the past, that if you have a major equipment program, if you do that on a joint basis or with various countries involved, you have economies of scale, and that can lead up to 30% reduction in the cost, which then frees up money to use that money for other projects. So that's why we hope that this becomes a way to become more efficient in the defence spending. And to do, in that sense, more with the same or more the higher budgets. But I agree with you that doing more with less, I think, is not what we are after. So it's about efficiency. It's about spending in the right areas. And of course, the resources are still owned by the member states, and they remain responsible for using the resources and to make them available. On the observer status, the last questions, a number of information. We have to see if all the information that is on decisions within the projects will be made public. That is not up to us. That's up to the projects to see. Of course, there will be information to the political level and to the public. But if all the detailed level of information is available, I'm not sure. There might be classifications here and there. And the European way is indeed adhered to the High Representative as a way to say security and defence is a part of a bigger approach where we also have development aid and other areas where we try to improve lives of those outside our borders. Thank you very much.
Very sorry to hear about, sir, about your problem at the annual conference. I take your point regarding the invitation. Of course, this is a conference that is that requires an invitation for obvious security reasons. But I take your point, and I think I will stop here because I'm running out of time. Thank you.